Oh, I don't like that one. Hello, everyone. We're gonna wait because I know there's a lot of people. I am Brandy Argentar, and I'm in my son's room. I have 3 boys, and my youngest is very loud downstairs. And so I am taking over one of my son's rooms right now. So pardon the lighting and everything in here. I'm glad that you all can make it, and hopefully there will be more people coming on. Here's just a kind of list. It's very informal. I didn't make any Google Slides. I have the participants. If you've never done Zoom before, I have my participants window up on the side. So if you do have questions, will definitely stop. If you don't want to show your face, that's totally fine. You can if you want. But what I'm going to be going through is I did make some notes, how to create, where to find Google Classroom, how to create the different parts of Google Classroom, how to create an assignment, and different options in the assignment, quizzes, questions, the materials, questions in Google, and then obviously questions whenever you guys have it, how to grade any of the assignments. And if we have time, I don't know if we will, but if we do, I will go through how to post in Google from different websites. So if you didn't know, you can post from Edpuzzle, assign straight into I'm going to see if I can go this way because that's a little bit better with the lighting in here. So there's a nice, many third-party apps can post straight to Google Classroom, which is really, really nice. And if there's something that I did not cover that you have questions on and we have time, I will go and cover those. If I don't know the answer, I will write it down. I'm part of the admin team for the educators Facebook, and there's lots of other awesome educators and tech coaches, instructional coaches on there. So again, my name is Brandy Argentar. I teach biology, have taught chemistry at a high school in the suburbs of Chicago in Illinois. I am also, so I do that for 2 class periods, and then I am also one of 2 technology coaches. The school is 4,600 students and over 300 teachers. So as a technology coach, I help hopefully how to effectively implement technology into the curriculum. So not so much troubleshooting, but more how to integrate it into the curriculum. So we'll get started. And if you want to follow along, if you have 2 devices, or if you know how to kind of split your screen, you can feel free to follow along. How I go into I just want to make sure that I have the correct screen up. There's one of 2 ways that you can access. Oops, it's encountered something wrong. Hopefully my internet won't go out. One of 2 ways that I access Google Classroom. You can either go through classroom.google.com, or if you've never used these awesome 9 squares up here in the top, you can go click those 9 squares, and then you scroll down and you should see Google Classroom somewhere there. So that's how I open up Google Classroom. And if you've already made a Google Classroom before, you'll see all of your different classes here. And I just made this earlier today because I wanted to practice going through this before I did this training session. And so you'll see all of these. And the nice thing here is you can move things around. So if there's different classes that you work on during if you're someone who has something for the next 3 weeks, I remembered seeing someone on one of the Facebook groups says he has a 3-week kids for 3 weeks, so that if it's the next 3 weeks, you could have that front and center, and then you can move it lower down once that class ends. But in order to create a class, you would click the plus sign here. And then if you wanted to join a class, you join it that way, but creating a class, you click create. The only thing that's required is the name. And so I'm gonna say Facebook group test class. I like to differentiate between my class periods if you have that. So second hour. And then subject, you can type anything in. Technology related, you can say English or ELA, whichever you, and if it's, so for example, ELA isn't here, but you could still use ELA. And then it will go to the database back in Google, and that will be an option for the next time. And then room, you can leave it blank, but if you want to write e-learning or distance learning, that works too. And that's as simple as you need to be able to create the class. And then it does take a few seconds to create it. And here's our class that I just created. And now what I'm going to show you first is this banner. Right here's the class code. So there's two different ways to invite students, which I'll get to in a second, but you might need that class code for one of the ways. You can change your theme. So if it's an art class or math and science class, English and history, that's what I said, ELA. So maybe let's do that one. And then you can choose it and it should change it. And you see that it changes the color. You do have the ability to upload a photo. It's restricted for different sizes, and it's as easy to Google search how to create a banner for a Google Classroom because it does require a specific size for that. So then before I continue, I want to make sure that you know how to go to your settings. So in the top right, you click the gear. And now here is your settings that you just created in your details. You could change it here if you'd like. Sorry for the sound, it just allows me to know when someone needs to be admitted or not. And then down here, if you scroll down, is general. Here's your class code. If you don't like your class code, you can reset. It's totally randomly generated, and there has been some times where it's FUK, and if you have middle schoolers or high schoolers like I do, that might not be one that you would want to continue with, and so you can reset it there. The stream, this is an important setting that I think people miss. Do you want your students to have the ability to post on the stream? And I'll show you the stream in a second. What I typically do is I only have teachers can post or comment within the stream, but you have to think about what you want for your specific class. If you want your students to be able to post to your class, if you want them to be able to only comment, or both post and comments. So that you have to think about and set up, and you can change it at any time, but that is something that to think about with what you want them to be able to do on the stream. And then the classwork. So anytime that you create something in the classwork page, which is assignments, material resources, quizzes, that's in Google Forms, you can either show the attachments and details, so that's everything. You can show just the condensed, it's just in Gmail, if you have the condensed version, might be the first line, or you don't have to show it on the stream at all. I personally like having it on the stream because it allows the students, the stream is where they stop. It's kind of like Instagram, how it's displayed. Guardian summaries. What that is if you would like the parents to be able to see a summary of what you posted. And the nice thing is it shows an example of what a Guardian summary, and actually my own children use Google Classroom, and I receive an email every day. You could choose as a parent, a Guardian, either once a day or weekly. And it just shows you what the teachers posted. Here's also something to note. If they are a Guardian in one class, they automatically become a Guardian in all of their classes. So you don't need to reassign them in every class. Once they're assigned in one class, they are a Guardian for all Google Classroom classes in that school. And then down here, grading. If you do want to grade within Google Classroom, and that is your grade book that you will show your students, you can choose what type of grading system you want, total points or weighted by category. They do not do standards-based grading yet. I'm assuming in the future years, because that's where a lot of education is going, that they might have that as an option as well. You can allow to show your students overall. So if I did total points, and then I can toggle on show the overall grade to the students. And then you can also add categories, for example, tests, quizzes, and you can get rid of those categories. So now that I've saved the settings, I just want to make sure that I mark off everything that I've gone through to make sure I don't miss anything. Now, here is the stream. Sorry if I say now a lot of times. The stream, which is this page, it's the landing page for your students and for yourself when you go to this Google Class. So when you open it, it will automatically go on the stream. The only thing that you can do on here is post an announcement. And what you do, you can post it. The nice thing is you can post it to as many classes as you want. And you can see there's a lot of classes here because I am a technology coach, so I help other teachers, and I have sub-tech classes as well. But you can post to as many classes as you want, which is really, really nice. Or if there are certain students that maybe missed a class day, you can post. I have no students, so I can show you on one of my previous ones. If you have students that missed, you can post to specific students, and I will show that. I'm going to write a note on my last page to show posting to specific students. And again, if you have any questions or if I'm going too fast, if you look in the participant button, there is a hand to raise your hand or go slower or go faster. I think I'm going I don't think you would want me to go too much faster, but if I'm going too fast, just please write the go slower and I will try and go slower. You can't, so this is just an announcement. So posting an announcement, you can attach files to your announcement, and you'll see this is the nice thing about Google Classroom is it looks the same regardless of what you're trying to post. An assignment, an announcement, or anything, you have these 4 options to add. So you can add straight from your Google Drive, any type of URL link, any file, or YouTube. And I believe that is it for, on the left-hand side, this upcoming work, that allows you as the teacher to see what you've assigned and what's coming up. Plus, it allows the students to see what work is that you've assigned to them and what's coming up. So that's also really nice to show them, especially for those students that have difficulty, organizing everything. I'm going to skip classwork right now. I'll come back to it because that's where we're going to spend the bulk of our time. So I'm going to go to people. In the people tab, I think I have, hold on a second, someone is chatting me. Just to clarify, if I had a parent as a guardian, are they automatically signed in for my students' siblings as well? No. So if Joe Smith is in your math class and is in a different teacher's ELA class and then a different teacher's science class, and Joe Smith's a guardian in the math class, the guardian will automatically be a guardian for all 3 classes, and you don't need to invite that guardian separate for all 3 classes for Joe Smith. However, if Joe Smith has a child, Jane Smith, in different classes, you will need to add that guardian to Jane Smith's class, but only one of the classes, and then you'll automatically, that guardian will have get the email for all classes that Jane Smith is in charge of. And thank you, Carrie, for doing the question in the chat, because that's totally fine also. So if you prefer to do it through the chat, we can definitely do it that way. So if you are a written person, you can type it, or if you don't think that you can explain it in the chat and you want to ask it verbally, I'm totally fine with that as well. If you are a teacher that has a co-teacher in your class, Google does allow you to do that. And it's as simple as inviting the teacher, putting their email in here, and sending the email off, which they will then receive the email that invites them to join that class. And they have every single edit rights possible. So I want to clarify that, because in my school, we have guided study teachers that ask to be co-teachers on classes. But if I teach biology and a guided study is helping to monitor a student that has 504 or an IEP for those that are in the USA, then if I add them as a co-teacher, they have 100% edit access. And what I've done, and this is again totally up to you and your school, but how I've done that is I invite them as a guardian. I first ask the parent to make sure that legally they are okay with that, and then I invite them as a guardian, so that guided study, resource case manager, whatever it is in your school, will receive daily emails and will be able to help that student out. To add students, you can add students in two ways. One is you can type in their name or email. And so this is, I would say, best for younger ages because it's if they have email addresses, you can type them in there, or you can talk to the parents to check their email and to log in. But what I prefer is I prefer just giving this code. And so all I do is tell the students, be it on a laptop, Chromebook, or a mobile device if they download the app, or they can do the web browser on all mobile devices also. If you remember at the beginning, that plus sign, it said join class or create a class. They would go to that plus sign and then put in this code, and they would be automatically added to your class. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a moment. I do have a fake student that I'm going to log in with. So it's going to just take a second to, because I got to log out of my son's that I see that he's using my iPad right now. So I'm going to join with my fake student and join this class. This fake student has like 30 classes because we use him all the time. So it's KRM. I have bad eyesight, so sorry if you're looking at me and you're seeing, actually I'm showing you my screen, but I'm joining it on the iPad, and it should usually will automatically generate the student here. Let's see if I go to the stream and then go back to people. Let me refresh the page. Usually it joins without refreshing it, but let's see. Now you can see Alex Kaler is now a fake student in my class. And so I guess I had to refresh the page. Typically you don't have to refresh it and it automatically does. I might just be a little impatient. And then I can actually invite more than one guardian. And so you can invite as many guardians as you want just by going to the three dots here. And then you can invite guardians this way, or you can remove guardians, or you can email a specific student. Another thing that I absolutely love about Google Classroom is that once you have your students, be it 10, 15, 20, 30, however many you have, you do not need to type in their names anymore to email them. All you have to do is click the select all. And so if I had 30 students, you'd see them all here. I would click on the action button and then I would email, and you'll notice that Gmail comes up in a second. And then you could see that this one, because it's just one person, it's an Alex. If you have a whole class, it will actually BCC them. And so I'll show you in a different one at the end how it automatically puts in all of the students into the BCC, which is super easy to email the whole class. Do you know a way to delete, I'm reading a question, delete a teacher that is no longer at school, only allowing me to email them? Let's see here. I am gonna go and look at my classes. I know I am co-teacher on this one. And then if you click on, so here you go, if you go on to L&L stands for Lunch and Learn. We provide, well, we used to provide technology lunch and learns to our staff. And here you see if you go into people, I'm one of the tech coaches. Christina is the other one. This is my husband who teaches the class, and I don't know why he's a co-teacher, so we're actually going to remove him. So you can do the 3 dots and click remove that way. And now,
but mine just has a little letter that it's just letting me delete. It doesn't have the 3 dots. That's the problem.
Are you the owner of the class?
I'm the teacher. She's the one that set it up.
That's
5, 6
why.
years
So
ago.
have that teacher, if you saw that make class owner, only the owner can actually remove a teacher. So have that teacher make you the class owner, and then you could delete that teacher.
But she no longer works at the school.
Ooh, that is a problem. Have you been
It's
using?
not really a problem. It just, I would like to get her off.
Right. And so have you been using this class, Google Class, for the entire year, or did you just?
I've been using it for the 7 years since she set it up.
So you haven't
I just
created
keep
new
changing the
classes?
students.
Say that again?
I just change the students every year.
Oh, so you can actually make a copy of the class. So for next year or whenever you start this class again, you can easily make a copy of the class, and then that teacher should no longer be the owner anymore.
Okay.
In terms of changing ownership, I'm totally guessing. I'm going to write this down as a question to look, but my initial guess is to go to your IT department, and they might be able to do it from the admin level.
Okay.
But I'm going to see if I can find out. Changing ownership when teacher no longer at school. So I will try, and when I post this recording, I am going to try and add any comments below, so then you can see that. And I just want to make sure.
All right, thank you.
Recording. Okay, I'm recording. No problem.
Yeah, it says recording.
Okay, perfect. I got nervous for a second. Anybody who uses Zoom, this is what I do. I auto record because I know my mind, I get frazzled right before, and I don't want to have to remember to record. So that's why I put it on auto record. So that is the people. And then I want to, hold on, let me see if I can do this. Go back to my class that I was working on before. And so now here's where you're going to do most all of your time is in classwork. Just making sure I go through everything. So you'll see up here, Google Calendar and the Class Drive folder. When you create an assignment with a due date, it will automatically post to your Google Calendar and your students' Google Calendar, which is nice. If they have notifications, then they'll get notified when something is due. In addition, Google Classroom creates a Drive folder automatically. That is amazing. I don't have to create what I used to do 5 years ago, 10 years ago, is that I would create a Google Drive folder and then have each of my students create one, then share it with me, and I'd put it in that Google Drive. You don't have to do that. Google Classroom automatically does that for you. And then if you see this create button, there's many things that you can do. You can create an assignment, quiz, question, material, reuse post from a different class. Or if you've copied this and you want to use something from a previous class like year, you can do that as well. And then topic down here, this is how Google likes to call them quote unquote folders. It just really tags your assignment. And so you can, if you wanted unit 1, cells. I teach biology right now, so that's where my brain is at. And so it will create a folder-like structure The one thing that has not been able, they haven't updated, there's no hierarchy, so you can't nest things under a folder. I'm hoping soon they'll do that. It just will literally list it out as many assignments as you had that have been tagged with that folder. So assignment, when you click an assignment, you'll get this nice screen. If you haven't gone to Google Classroom in a while, they've changed it so it is the entire screen and not just a small part of classwork. And you'll want to put in a title. So if I can spell, practice assignment, whatever instructions that are totally optional if it's pretty self-explanatory. And then you have two options here. One, that same ad is exactly the same as you've had before. So if, for example, you have Edpuzzle and you don't want to post through Edpuzzle, but you want to put the link here, you can put the link here. If you have something in your Google Drive that you want to assign, that it's a document, a sheet, a slide, or a drawing, you can go and look for it through your Google Drive. And the nice thing is it will not, depending on what you choose to how you assign it, it will not make any, it'll just make it into a template and not actually make changes to that specific document. Or you can create straight in Google Classroom, which is also nice. So if you haven't created anything yet, but you have this idea, we just talked about cells yesterday. I want to know what they know the difference between plant and animal cells. And so I'm gonna create this document brand new, similarities and differences. I've got a little bit of a lag, so I don't know exactly where I am right now. Differences between cells. And then I give whatever title that I want to, or not title, descriptions here, whatever you want, what you want to do. And so I've just created an assignment for them directly in Google Classroom. When I finish assigning, this title will automatically update to that title, similarities and differences, whatever title that you put in there. Please do not click assign until you've selected the mode of transmission for this assignment. There are three options, and unfortunately, I wish they had make a copy for each student as a default. I've been asking them forever because that's the one that I always choose. So let me go through each of them. Students can view the file, so that all that means is that whatever document slides that I post, they can only view it. They can't do anything but view it. Students can edit the file. This is important because this means that all students, so say you have 25 students, all students have edit access to this one file. So all 25 students can go into this file and change whatever they need to do. So if you're doing a group class activity on one document, or like a slideshow, if one slide is per student, so you have a slideshow that's 25 slides, you would want to do, students can edit the file so they can go in, go to the slide that has their name on it and edit that slide. So that's why you'd want to use the students can edit. The make a copy for each student, it's amazing. It will literally make a copy and append the student's name on that file name. And so you don't need to do anything except click make a copy. And when you assign it, when they open the assignment, it will attach their name. And when they submit it to you, then their name is already on it. So that's what I do. If you want individual work, I always do make a copy for each student. And then on the right-hand side here, again, just like an announcement, you can, if you have multiple classes that are the same subject, so I teach 2 biology classes, I could assign to both biology classes or however many classes that you want. Also, you can choose to do, so if I have 25 students and I only want to assign this to half of the group, so differentiating instruction, you can choose to uncheck all students and then just check the students that you want to assign it. In addition, when I do labs, I do multiple people in a lab. And so what I can do for that, I can assign it to one person per lab group. So if you do want them working on group work at home, you can assign it to one person and then have them share it to everybody else in their group. And so that's an easy way to do group work instead of having them to create the document themselves, share it with each other, and share it back to you. You don't need to do that anymore. You assign it to one of the students and they share it, and they don't need to share it back to you. You choose however many points, or if you don't want to use the gradebook at all, you don't have to use the gradebook. If you want to make sure it goes on the Google Calendar or in homework to-dos for a set deadline, that's when you choose a due date. And you can do time optional if you're someone that the students need to know it has to be done by 4 p.m. That's where you would add that 4 p.m. And then you can either, if you've already have your topics created, you can either add to that topic or create a new topic. Since this is cells, I'll put it in my cells unit. And then rubric is actually a lot more involved. And so I'm actually going to not cover rubrics right now because we have 30 minutes left and I want to make sure that we get through everything. Rubrics is awesome. If you Google rubrics, Google Classroom rubrics, it will explain how to do that, or we might have another session later for that. Originality reports, that's a way to check plagiarism. You only get 3. This is new. I don't remember when it changed because at the beginning of the year you had more than 3. So if you click it, it will give you a warning. You only have 3. This will be one of your 3 assignments. And then next time you'll have 2. So I would do that only if you have a big paper, lab report, whatever it might be, so that it will check the plagiarism for you. Then up here on the top, you have an option to either schedule it, which means you literally schedule it for the future. If you are someone that would like to plan the whole week or plan a day in advance, this is really nice. You can schedule for the future. The one thing that you cannot do, and notice if I assign it to 2 classes, when I go back up here, schedule is grayed out. Because they're 2 classes, Google thinks that that's 2 different time periods, and so they don't allow you to schedule in advance for 2 classes. So you can only schedule when you have one of them chosen. And then if you click assign, that will immediately put it onto your stream and to your classwork, and then save draft if you want to come back to it later. And so I'm going to go to assign. Oh, there's a couple questions. I found that if I make a mistake in the original slide or doc, I can change it later. It won't change in the student copies. True. So once you've assigned an assignment, so this lovely assignment that I put up here, if I had, hey, look, I have spelling errors and I change it now, that will not change my student ones. You have to make all and proofread everything before you assign it. Because once you've assigned it, you still have this. This is your document that you have in your drive. But what it does is it takes a copy immediately and puts it out for the students. So anything that you make changes to the original will not go to your student's copy after you've assigned it. And then, can students have edit capability on the make a copy option? Yes, when you assign a make a copy option, so here's how, that's a great question, Claire. Here's how the sharing access works. So when a student, so I just made a copy for, I'll go back into the class. This is my practice assign. And so you can see here that it's assigned to one person because I only have one person doing this. And what happens is when Alex, that's my fake student, opens the copy, now the rights have now changed to Alex and Alex becomes the editor. And so Alex will make whatever changes he wants to make, turn it in. As soon as he clicks the turn in button, ownership changes back to me. So now he only has view access. He can't make any changes unless he unsubmits it. So sometimes that's what you'll get your shifty students doing, where they might submit it, realize either that they need to make changes, or they found someone else's work and want to put that in, so they unsubmit it, which then changes ownership back to them, and then they turn it in. So anytime they turn in, the ownership goes to the teacher and the student only has view capability. If they unsubmitted it or they haven't turned it in yet, the edit capability is on the student and teacher. So the teacher always has edit ability. I hope that answered your question, Claire. So here's the view of it for, you can see how many students have turned in and not turned in, how many it's assigned to from that perspective. You can also see I chose in the settings to have it go on the stream, and hey, lo and behold, it automatically goes on the stream. So this stream is the one-stop place that all students default to when they open it. And so anything that you've created in Classwork, if you turn that setting on, it will be displayed here unless you've saved it as a draft, and then it won't be shown here for your students. So going back to Classwork, I want to, I want to make sure that I mark off everything. Can view, can edit, make a copy. I've done the assignment settings. We are on now quiz assignment. So when you click quiz assignment, what that means is that it's making a Google form quiz, which is also, if you've never done a Google form quiz, that is really nice that you can auto grade multiple choice. You can have short answers. I'm not going to go into how to create Google quizzes. That's a whole different type of training as well. But you put the title in here, your instructions. If you see, it looks exactly the same like assignments, which is great because it makes it user-friendly that every look is the same. And then here's where it automatically creates, just like when I did that create a new document, it automatically created a Google quiz where I can create, again, I'm not going to go into big details of this, but you can create your quiz in here, assign point values. You see there's total points right now is 0, but then it will automatically update and change the title later once you've saved it in here. You can also import the grade into the Google Classroom gradebook, which is wonderful. And then on the side, you see you have the exact same options, changing the points, ungraded, due date, no topic, originality report. I'm not sure how that works with a quiz. I'd have to get back. I've never used that with this one. I only use it with the documents. And then the download arrow is the same thing, assign, schedule, and save draft. And then we're going to get out of that, and I'm going to show you the next thing, which is create a question. This is, again, one question at a time, but if you look at the user interface, it looks very similar, and that's the nice thing is that every user interface looks very similar. You have the option of doing a short answer question for your students, or you can choose a multiple choice. This can be a survey type question or a multiple choice with a correct answer. You can post it to multiple groups like you have before. You can have points. The only difference down here is now on the bottom. Do you want the students to reply to each other? And then do you want them to be able to edit their answer after the fact? So if you have their first, you pose a question, excuse me, I didn't bring up water. You pose a question, and it's a thought-provoking question, and then you want them to discuss it with their neighbor, their virtual neighbor, and then you want them to make changes to their answer or additions to their answer so you can see how it changed. You can use the students can edit. And again, you have the same schedule, ask, it's the same as assign or save draft. The next option down here, where's my cursor? Is material. I like to call this resource materials. This is where I place all of my resource materials. So I might have it as, because we are a Google school, so I might say Unit 1 cells Google Slides or lectures, if you do lectures or whatever you want. And you can add as many resources here, and I can go and search in my drive. What's nice now, which they didn't have it last year, was that you can go into your shared drive. So if you use shared drives, you can look in your shared drives, my drives, recent, however you want. And you can see here, here's the template that Google created as soon as I assigned that that document. And so you can add 30 different things. I don't know what the limit is here. The one thing that I would recommend is have an organization system for your materials. So if you want all of your lecture notes in one material post and all of your review material in one materials post, just so that the kids are organized, it's easy for them because, again, they're at home, so things are a little difficult for them. So from there, reuse post, it is an option that I can look at any past class, so you can see all of my classes, and find a post in a previous class. So if I wanted to go into first hour here, and then I can look for any of the previous posts, I can create new copies of all the attachments, or I can just use the same attachments and they'll make a copy for the students so that it won't be an additional document in my drive. From there, I was going to move off of classwork and go to grades because we have about 20 minutes left, and grades is actually a very important one. You won't see much here. Excuse me. I'll show you another class in a second, but every time you create an assignment, it will show you class average and the grade, no grade, or grade out of however many points here. And you can grade immediately in here. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go into a previous class from last year or 3 years ago, just to show you what it looks like. And so you can see all of the different assignments here. Some of them were just in class, so I wasn't collecting it for grades. You can see, I think this is the one I want to show you, that you can see some have done the work, and then some are missing, and some are late. And so I could go click from here, the title, and now it brings me to this view. This view is all of my students. You can see how many I've graded, how many were assigned. I could tell that they worked in partners because I have more than 16 or 8 people, so they probably worked in groups of 3. And then I can go and look at a certain student and grade their assignment. And so if I look at this student, you can either grade on your laptop or you can grade on your iPad. I'm not sure if I have time to show you on the iPad how to grade, but if I have time at the end, I can show you that. But I can go in, I can make comments. There are these canned comments that you can create. It's just like commenting in a regular document, which is very nice. If you didn't want to go from the grades, what I wanted to do, if you don't want to go to grades every single time, you can go into Classwork and you can go and find the assignment this way. And so here's just, you can see how this class is set up. And I can see I was in evolution for that one, and I think it was, I don't remember which one it was. But if I wanted to go into this one, I could see, and I can grade from here. And so I click the assignment that I wanted to grade, and then I click on the turned in, and it will show me that they turned it in, and I can view it that way. So that's 2 ways to actually view the assignment, is to go through grades or go through the assignment directly. And then I want to, I think, how to grade on laptop. The last thing that I wanted to show is the overall settings, so that you know how to change some settings. If you go, we call them the hamburger buns, the 3 lines on the top left. You'll see all of your classes. You can go to your calendar to see all of your assignments that way. Here's my teaching to-dos, and so this will show you everything that I need to grade. So this is another place that you can go to grade. This looks overwhelming, so you can go just class by class, which makes it a lot better. And then I can go directly into this one and then grade it that way, if you see that. And then if you are a student in any class, you'll have your student to-dos here, so your students will only see this. And you can go to your archive classes and then your settings. In your settings, this is really for email notifications. Do you want to receive email notifications? Toggle it on if you want to, and then different email notifications that you can choose to do. I'm not gonna, you can read them yourself, but anytime that you might want a notification for your students when they do work or whatever. And then you can change it for the actual students, which is really nice. So if you want your students to receive student notifications, they should be looking at their notifications as well. And that is, I know I walked through a whole lot. I am going to, if you have questions, open up for questions. Oh, there is actually one thing that I wanted to show you. For example, I said I used Edpuzzle as an example, and I'll use it again right now. If I log into my Edpuzzle, and then I want to say, I want to assign, go to my content, sorry, I've got windows in the way. My content, and I have, if you haven't used Edpuzzle, it's a great way to make sure that students are watching videos at home. And for example, we wanted them to watch this rock pocket mice video on evolution. We didn't want them to answer any questions. We just wanted to make sure that they watched it. And so we had one easy question at the end. If you want to assign it to a specific Google Classroom class, you click the assign, and then I can assign it to however many Google Classroom classes there are. Let's see if I can I'll do the test class because nobody's in that class, and I'll assign it to them. So a lot of third-party apps, and you can already see the fake students in this class, my good old Alex Kaler. A lot of third-party apps go directly to hold on, sorry. I have so many classes. Where do I think I might have gotten rid of the test class? Let me try to assign it to a different class. Sorry about that. But there's a lot of quizzes we'll do, allow you to post directly to Google Classroom. So many can go post directly to Google Classroom. Let's see if there's another one that I can do. I think I saw this one. Assign all these teachers might get an email. These are all teachers, but I wanted to show you Tech Cadre 2019, 2020, and there should be an assignment straight in here in a minute. But it will assign, posted a new assignment. Oh, you can see from quizzes, you can see that I posted a new assignment in there as well. So that's the nice thing, that it automatically assigns it straight into Google Classroom. And I don't know if anybody has any other questions. Does anybody want to see how you can grade on the iPad? Because I can show you that quickly as well. Yes, this is where you would post directly from McGraw-Hill. So what you can do is either the link, or if you look at any assignments or any websites that say post to Google Classroom, that's where it would automatically then post back to your Google Classroom. So for example, I believe ClassKick does this, GoFormative does this, Quizzes, I don't remember if Kahoot does. So many different places now allow you to post back to your Google Classroom. In addition, what's really nice, that if you have your roster, a lot of places you can import your Google roster, so you don't have to retype your roster in for all of the different third-party environments. And so ClassKick, GoFormative, Quizzes, Edpuzzle, all these different, Edulastic, everything, so many of them allow you to import your Google roster so you don't have to retype everything. I'm gonna stop sharing so you can see my beautiful face again. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer, or I wasn't sure if you wanted me to, since we have like 10 minutes, I'll try and see if I can share my how to grade. So I gotta get out of Alex, because he is, I wanna make sure, where am I? There am I. Let's see if I can share my iPad. Go to share. I'm using, uh-oh, a plugin is required. I've already installed it. Why are you making me install it again? I apologize. There we go. And now I need to screen mirror. Sorry about that. Let's screen mirror. Let's see if this works. Oh, perfect. Okay. So now I'm in as me, and let's see if I can go to an assignment that someone has submitted. That there was that one class. I think it was, no, I don't think I had 16 students, but so you can see now I have the iPad. I'm in the Google Classroom app. That's what I would recommend. And then you can go to your to-dos or classwork. I believe it was the variations lab. Actually, let me go. It's quicker if I just go to my to-dos. I don't see it on that. So let's see here. It was this one, variations within a species. And this was the person I was looking at. And so now you can see that I'm on this, and I can open up hers. And I can either go straight and do some drawing on here. So this is nice. It creates a screenshot kind of it, a static image. And now I can draw on here. You can see down here, I can change, I can erase my, I have the highlighter here. If I want to highlight, I can type in here. Great job. And the nice thing with this, it just creates a screen image of it, like a screenshot, and then it sends it back to, I don't want to discard, saving it. So now it's an edited image. So I'm not writing anything on her Google Doc. I am just, so you can see her image is still there, and I'll go back to show you what it looks like from the laptop version of it. So that's really nice that you can draw directly on images this way. Oh no, sorry, it doesn't need to be an iPad. It could be any mobile device. You can do this on any mobile device. And Amy, I'm gonna put it immediately up to Google, up on Facebook, so that everybody can watch this later. Yes, so any mobile device you can do this. You just download. You need to have the Classroom app. So I'm gonna stop sharing my iPad, but I'm gonna go back and share my my actual laptop, so you can see how that changed that one student's, that it created a separate image. So I believe it was variations in my evolution right here. And let me go to see it on here. I didn't give her grade. There it is. And when I click on her, you should see now 2 images. This is her original, so I didn't touch her original. So if you want to not do anything on the original document, you just want to make edits, this you can see now is the edit that I made. It's a screenshot, makes it as a PDF. You can see the files here on the right-hand side that I made it. Let me click on that. Sorry, I was showing you the document. Here's the screenshot image that you could see I highlighted here and said, great job. Any other questions before we say goodbye? I hope that this helped. If you have a moment to type in the group chat to let me know if there was something else that you expected, I can definitely gear training, either myself or someone else, to gear training towards the needs that you want. If you felt that it was too confusing this way. I just love to get feedback because we are here to help everyone because the entire world is going through this right now. And to make your life easier is something that I hope that I can help with. Oh, yay, Carrie. I'm glad you learned something today. That makes me happy. And that's it. So I am going to log off. And this will be available. It does, if you take Zoom, if you use Zoom, it does take a long time to render the recording afterwards into a file, and I will post it. I'll probably upload it to YouTube and then post it onto Facebook very soon. I'm putting my 4-year-old to nap very soon, so it'll be there. It'll be there before the end of the day in my time. I didn't ask where everybody was from, but I'm in Illinois, so I promise you it'll be there before the end of the day in Central Standard Time, which is GMT +5. The Facebook group, that's the educator, I should know the name off the top of my head, Temporary Educators Online. That's actually a great question. I'm going to put the link in if you're not, because I know I posted this several different places. If you haven't joined that group, there's over 100, I think, in 17,000 educators worldwide that are needing help and giving help to each other. Here's the link to that. And I will be posting it here in several places. In the Educator Temporary School Closure, under the files, under the units, it's there. I think there's a unit for Google Classroom. Here, let me show you. I'll screen share one last time to show you it. So it's called, I believe that they're rebranding the name very soon, but it's called right now Educator Temporary School Closure for Online Learning. You can see there are how many? We have almost 118,000 members. And if you go under units, I believe there's a unit for Google Classroom. If not, I will be making one. Here's Google Meets. Oh, Google Classroom. So I will be posting it under the Google Classroom under the Google Classroom unit as well. And then if you do have questions, feel free to comment on here. You could private message me. There is, I think, a Google Classroom subgroup too, so that you can ask questions directly about Google Classroom. And there's subgroups for USA, other countries, different subject matter. So I'm in the science, I'm helping admin do the science one. There's ELA, there's elementary, middle school, high school. So this is a great community to get help for everything. And I'm going to sign off. I'm going to end the meeting. So thank you very much and good luck and be well, be safe.